Hey, journal entry, I think it's the 27th, I'll look it up in a minute. Journal entry for June 27th. Um, Last night on Facebook, I saw there was a little like festival fair outdoor. Oh, it was a block party at a church. It's a Pentecostal church. I have not attended their services, but I did meet a couple of the people that go to the church. So I just decided to stop by. It started at 11. I showed up about 11:45 or noon. And I don't really know what to think. There is a young man there who I haven't really talked to. But when I first moved to this town, he worked at a local store that's got really cheap used furniture. And so I would go there all the time to get stuff for this house. Like one of my recliners was $4, so that type of thing I could go and pick up and get furniture for my house. So I saw him all the time, and I was surprised that a random stranger, walked by and invited or told me, "Oh, there's a free food here. Go to this place, and at this day and this day." I'm like, "What?" And then they kind of walked away. And then I showed up, and it turned out that it was a church. So I got to meet a couple of the people there, a couple of the women there, and talk to them. So I only talked with them once, and then I went to excuse me. I'm gonna say family fun, but it was mainly for real little kids, but they had uh, they had like homemade lemonade and hot dogs, and then there was activities for kids. So there wasn't a whole lot to do, and it was pretty small, but it was still nice. They had like a dunk tank, and they had this guy dressed up like the devil, so it was kind of fun. I see that would be fun for kids. And I do like how these Pentecostal women are not wearing makeup, and they look better without it. But um, there does appear to be a certain culture. There's a culture with every church, but um, like most are wearing skirts. Maybe a couple weren't. I don't know if they are supposed to wear skirts and the rest were guests. Um, which there's nothing wrong with wearing skirts, but for me, I ride a bicycle, and so God made sure I ride a bicycle. So I'm not able. Like, I guess I could wear a skirt, but it would get caught in the chain and it would rip. Like, cause I go really fast, I don't have time. Even pants that aren't like tight enough will get caught in the chain. So there's no way I'm gonna be messing with a skirt. Like, I will have less clothes on at the end. But anyways, and then I wear this because I'm on the bike too. So God makes sure that I don't conform to any status quo. Now, I really like that they don't wear makeup, but then some churches, most of the women wear skirts, and it kind of was this way maybe in the Mormon church too. Um, but it can restrict your mobility. So if you have the luxury of being driven around, then this can be fine. But for some people, it just it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and so they're not going to kick me out because of it. But anyways, I guess I'm the only cyclist. God made sure I'm a cyclist, and so I wear this silly hat. They make fun of me. I do kind of like it. I got these on Temu. They were really cheap, and I got all the different colors, so I like them. They're this. It's a thin. This is hard inside here, but the outside is soft, and it's got some padding in it, so it's pretty comfortable, and it's good for most weather. So I don't know what I'm talking about here. Anyways, I don't know what to think about the Pentecostal church yet. There's a personality and a culture that goes. There's a culture with every church, and there's kind of a dress code that goes with every church, and of course there's me, and I don't conform to any dress code. No one else speaks like me. No one else dresses like me. What I try to do is wear normal clothing, but then I have a silly hat. I wear normal clothing and I have a silly hat. This is my, I got these for free today. So this says, I love USA. So um, I didn't buy this. It was free. And they had all the different colors. And I wanted all the colors, but they only let me take one. And they said, come back at 9 if you want another. Well, no way. Actually, it was kind of the the way I had to bike to get to this other location is kind of dangerous. So I left early. I didn't want to be biking in the dark and have somebody run me over. So I know God protects me, but still, it wasn't really safe. It's like there's curves and there's hills, and it's a narrow road and there's no sidewalk, and it's kind of like a country road. So, anyways, I didn't want to be sticking around too late. But I would have liked for them to let me have all of the colors, because I'm sure they had some left. But that's fine. I got this one because I got a lot of these bracelets, but I don't have many that are white with blue on it. So I didn't have a lot of white bracelets. So that's why I chose this. But they had red, they had blue, they had black. And, yeah, so this is just a little different than most of the ones I have. This is glow in the dark. So I didn't realize these wear out after a short period of time. But if it's dark, it glows. That's kind of neat. I turned the light off and I was playing with it. Anyways, so I don't know what to think of this Pentecostal church yet. The woman I was speaking with and her daughters are there and her son is there. And actually, I enjoyed talking to her. I looked on the Facebook page, and it looked like she might... I looked on the Facebook page, and I don't really know. Maybe she's the wife or girlfriend of the pastor. Maybe she's like the wife of the pastor, and she was wearing red. So, I am not too sure. But that could mean maybe she's the head witch here. If there's no grandma witch, I don't know. But I haven't been to a Pentecostal yet. It seems the more strict they are with rules, then the more powerful the witches are. This is something I've noticed. But, maybe each denomination has its own hierarchy and rules. And these are spiritual, and they're hidden. It's hidden from most of the members, except for those that are involved. But God will show me how it works. But I like this woman and her daughter. And they've been nice to me and talking to me, and we had a good conversation. But they could be tricking me, like everyone else. So at first, God lets me see them the way everyone else sees them, and then later I get to see, God shows me in the spirit what the truth is. So, but it has to be that way. So I see the way they actually look to everyone else, and the way that they're actually talking to me. And then in the future, God will show me in the spirit, like the true intentions. But I don't know. I'm always holding out hope that there's some good people out there. In church leadership, in church leadership, that there's some good people out there. But anyways, they were real nice. They were wondering how I found out about the event. I said, I saw it on Facebook. I followed them after I went there, and they gave me a coffee. And then they gave me, they had this meal you had to buy, and they gave it to me. I'm like, oh, well, thank you, because I said I didn't have much money, and they're like, oh, we'll hook you up with one. I'm like, okay, this is great. And so I asked. They had hot dogs again. So every church event has hot dogs. They all have hot dogs. And then I actually saw on the Facebook page it was a pizza eating contest. I must have missed it. Who knows? I was thinking maybe there's pepperoni. I'm gonna have to show up and tell them about pork again. But the pizza eating contest wasn't there. I must have missed it. So who knows? But then I asked them about the hot dogs. They're like, these are beef hot dogs. Well, I don't really know if they were. They might have been because they tasted better. They tasted better, so they probably were. There's a chance they could have been lying to me. But I asked them, and they told me it was beef. And I'm like, praise the Lord. Thank you, guys. And so, God uses me to judge people. I'm the bait. So I asked them, and they tell me, oh, we've got beef hot dogs. And then they give me a beef hot dog. It might have actually been a beef hot dog, actually. It could have been a real beef hot dog. I'm thinking maybe it was. It's probably more likely that it was beef than not, but people lie to me all the time too. So I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to ask to see the packaging. I asked them. They told me. And if they trick me and are actually giving me a pork dog, then God will render judgment against the liar. But anyways, the other one was a little surprised when I was eating it, but maybe she told me it was beef. And it did taste like maybe it was beef. So they told me, I ate it. And I am going to embarrass myself in this video again, I'm sure. But the people there, they all seem nice. They weren't repulsed by me. Maybe the young man who was at this used store. It's not a thrift store, but like they got a bunch of stuff for the house. Like building supplies and furniture. So the young man that worked there, he seemed kind of embarrassed or something that I was talking to his mom. I didn't know how old he was. I thought maybe he's in his 30s. No, I think he's much younger than that. It's just I happen to look much younger than my age, and a lot of young people look older than their age anyways. But he was kind of embarrassed like that I was talking to his mom. But I don't know what's going on there. Like she seems to have a good personality and is more authentic, but as I said, they're normally tricking me, so I'm just going to wait and see. But they invited me. Before I left, I just said hello to like the people at all the tents, and then there was a couple of young girls kind of over at this one section. Maybe they were like 20 or something, and I walked over there just to, say a few sentences before I headed out because I didn't speak to them yet. And then they confirmed and invited me to come tomorrow, and they mentioned they have coffee too. I said, well, I don't really have money right now. And so you get a free coffee on Sundays. I'm like, oh. So they want me to come early so we just sit around and talk for a while before the service. Okay, I guess so. I don't like sitting around and talking, but as I said, I serve the Lord. I do whatever God wants me to do, and it's normally stuff that I don't like to do. But that doesn't mean, because, well, I don't know. Maybe there are some people that actually like me. It's just most just pretend to like me and then they just attack me. So it's like, where's the fun? And I guess maybe that is kind of fun, but I don't like small talking and like I'm like, what do I say? I don't know. It's kind of awkward. It's kind of uncomfortable, but maybe it'll be good. Trying to think what all was going on. So then when I left there, I knew that they had, there was America's 250th birthday celebration. And that's what this is for. And so I knew that they were setting up stuff downtown. They were going to have something going on. So I biked down there. Now, before I get to the main area where the pavilion is, or the arena, then I got across the street and there's a woman there and two women next to her and they got a sign. It's like, can we pray for you? And it turns out there's like a few little canopy, like gazebos, set up, and there's quite a few people there. And they've got a grill, and there's more hot dogs. So I just got a hot dog. And then at this location, there's another church. This is like maybe 5 blocks away. So I was at this one church, and then I leave. And I'm going to go to the city center to see what's going on for the holiday. And then I run into I guess Christians holding sign and like, can we pray for you? And they're like, oh, come on in. And we got food. So the meal that they gave me actually at the other place was not very big. It was a regular size hot dog and a package of chips, but it was this big lemonade that they made. So, but I was still a little hungry. So then I showed up and it was kind of a mixed group. But at first I noticed Clean Your Plate Man. And I don't think it was Voodoo Man. There was another man from the soup kitchen I no longer go to. He was sitting next to Clean Your Plate Man. They keep sending him, I guess, to try to get me, but he can't. He can't. But anyways, they were sitting right next to each other, and then I kind of see them. I look at them. They don't look directly at me, but I know they're observing. I know they're watching me. And they probably expected me to go. And this was some type of trap. Now, this was already planned anyways. So, of course, what were they making? Again, hot dogs. Hot dogs again. So I just left the one church where they had hot dogs, and then I am trying to make my way to the downtown area, and on my way, there's another church event where they have hot dogs again. Now, I come on. There's the first woman that walks towards me, and she's got a shirt on for the church. So I didn't know. I thought she was kind of higher up, and so I asked about like if the hot dogs are beef or if they're pork, and she said she didn't know or something. She said she didn't really know, and she'd get me some food. So you want some chips or a drink or something? Like, okay. She said she didn't really know, but she would get me the other things. And so she kind of went up while I stayed back. So this was, normally I would have walked up and got it myself, but it's like she told me to stay here, and then she went ahead and got like a little thing of water and some chips and a cookie and brought it to me. And this was nice. But then we talked a little bit, like she was trying to say, oh, well, in the New Testament, there's nothing about we're not allowed to eat pork. She wasn't being mean like that. So I want to be accurate. She was just saying it in a regular voice. There's nothing in the New Testament about like that. And I said, actually, yeah, there still are dietary restrictions in the book of Acts after Peter's vision. And then she starts to get a little defensive. And then at the end, I'm like, I'm not responsible for what you do. You're not responsible for what I do. I'm not responsible for what Adam and Eve did. Adam and Eve aren't responsible for what I do. But like how basically we are still cursed because of the original sin. As God says not to eat this, it seems like, oh, there's no harm. Just, eating this fruit's not going to do anything. But God said not to. And so, like, I was kind of getting like, and then the woman kind of walks away. Now, I felt like I was being too mean. But it's almost like these are their pagan occult rituals, and they feed it to people to possess them with spirits. It's kind of like the fallen angels. They wanted to have children with human women and animals. And they probably could already have children with other angels in heaven. But it was the mixing of the species that was not allowed, like the genetic engineering. So they thought if enough of them did it, then God wouldn't punish them all. So they're trying to feed all of us pork. I guess somehow that'll lessen their own sin. No, it'll increase their sin. But it clearly says that pork is an abomination. If you eat pork, you'll be condemned. So I was looking in the New Testament a few days ago, because they only, the Wiccan Christians only accept the New Testament. They do not accept the Old Testament. They don't accept anything else. They don't accept logic or reason. They only accept like the epistles of Paul. So that's where I went. And that's where you also find we have to follow the law is still in the epistles of Paul. And dietary restrictions still are in the epistles of Paul. Now, there's not a whole lot of detail, but it's clear that they were trying to make a compromise, a segue for the Gentiles that were pagan, and they never followed any type of kosher dietary guidelines. So they were they weren't going to tell them all the rules, just some. Well, those some rules also would not have allowed them to eat pig, and pig were not native when they lived by the seashore. But they also knew what pig were. I can go on and on. But we're not allowed to. This is original sin. God says don't eat it. So, say, well, it doesn't matter anymore because the new covenant. I'm like, oh, are we allowed to murder now? We allowed to go and have a bunch of partners and cheat on our spouse now? Are we allowed to do that now? Oh, no. It was so funny about these churches. What's so funny about these churches is that, like, they make up these fake rules. They make up, oh, women can't be priests. They make up rules like, we have to dress this way. We have to speak this way. We listen to this type of music. We don't watch this type of show. They make up all they have dress code rules. And it's like, where is that in the Bible? That is nowhere in the Bible. But you know what is in the Bible? Don't eat pork. Don't eat pork is in the Bible many times. But what is not in there are these silly rules that they make up. Anyways, I'm not trying to be mean because I don't know about this church yet. So while I was talking to this woman, she mentioned there at the Civic Center was another church, and then their church, which is like 10 miles away. I don't know. Well, I've now been invited to two more. And then the one I'm going to tomorrow. And then the other woman wants me to come back to her church. But she kind of, I think she was attacking me, so maybe I won't. I say, I got new ones to go to. But anyways, see what's going on here. So then, after that woman leaves, then someone else approaches me, and they're like, "Oh, all you got was a cookie and some chips?" And I said, "Yeah, well, because I don't know if I said we're not allowed to eat pork. I said, I don't know if it's pork hot dogs." She's like, "Oh, I think we've got beef." And she goes over and asks the woman cooking it, does they have beef? So they could be lying. That's what I'm saying. She's like, "Oh, we got beef hot dogs," and then they get me one, and then they allow me to go up. And then I get one. And it's like, "Do you want a bun?" I'm like, "Oh, no." And then I notice there's no forks. And I was like, "Well, maybe I'll take a bun if there's no forks." But they didn't really hear me. So then this is a big hot dog. It's like 3 times the size of a regular hot dog. And it's kind of greasy. And then I put ketchup and mustard. So it was good. But I am not sure. This might have been pork. And they might have lied to me. They told me it was beef. They said it was beef. So I'm the bait. If they lied to me, then God renders judgment. So I just like, here, come on, do what you're going to do. Do what you're going to do. Maybe it makes me bloated or whatever. But God will restore. Trying to think. Now, it might have been beef, but it had a taste where I think maybe it was pork. But at that point, I already started. They told me it was beef. They got it for me. So, and the other woman did not know. But then I see Clean Your Plate Man, and actually, I see the man who went to the other soup kitchen, and he poisoned the cookies at this church meal. He was there at Mount Calvary when they tried to kill me. So this man, he is a more dangerous enemy. Because whatever he put on these cookies, like, it was pretty bad. Like, I couldn't talk well for a while. It's something kind of like strep throat, but more obscure, so no one knows about it, and it doesn't show up in a test. So he kind of showed up looking evil, and then I saw him, he saw me, but we didn't talk, and then I don't know where he went. So I noticed a few more people from the first soup kitchen there who were enemies. I noticed them there. And, this is not a big deal to me. But it seemed like a setup. And I think it was a trap and it was a setup. But nothing bad happened to me. They might have given me a pork hot dog. They might have. But I did my part. I asked them, "Is this beef?" They said, and I told someone else, "We're not allowed to eat pork." And they said, "Oh, I think we got beef." And they go up and ask a woman cooking it. It's like, "Yes, it's beef." Then they give it to me. So as I said, it is my job to be a tool that God uses to judge people. So I gotta take the hits. I just take the hits. So I will say that later, when I got home, I prayed to God. I'm not sure if that was beef or pork. If it was pork and they lied to me, I prayed to God that if there's any pork spirits, that they are not allowed, to be possessing me. They have to leave. And anything else toxic or poisonous or anything else harmful for me from it being pork will have to leave my system and won't affect me. So I prayed this. Guess what? I had to go to the bathroom 3 times. So they probably fed me pork. Okay, this is embarrassing myself. This does not happen. This does not happen. I don't know the last time. 3 times in a day, and this is before dinner time. So I prayed to God if they gave me pork, that anything that the pork be removed from my body, anything harmful related to pork be just come out and not hurt me. And so I had to go to the bathroom. Anyways, so I'm eating this hot dog. There's a few people from the old soup kitchen, Clean Your Plate Man, and this other man, I don't know if it's Voodoo. It's not Voodoo Man, maybe it is. someone like that comes around and they're looking at me, and so they got something planned. Um, Now there are a lot of black people here, so it's like half people from the soup kitchen and it's like half black people. I'm not really sure. And then there's a few white people at the church too. So I'm saying this to let you know the different groups. Like each group has its own culture and its own personality. Because most people conform. And what I'm saying is that I guess I'm the only person like me because my voice. I don't know who else talks like me. It's like Trump. Who else talks like Trump? Who else has a voice that sounds like Trump? Like even the best impersonator has trouble with that one. Because people don't talk like me, they don't sound like me, they don't look like me, and they don't dress like me. And I'm not intimidating to people. I'm nice to people, but I'm not a pushover. So I don't I don't fit into any group, and I'm just always different. But in these groups, everyone has kind of like the same personality and same culture. So, anyways, then, so as I'm finishing this dog, then an older black man approaches me, and he's very serious. He seems very serious. Not evil, but very serious. Not silly, nothing like that. And he approaches me, and like they sat a chair down. Actually, I forgot to say, as I showed up, they kept telling me to sit down and offer me a seat. And then I got this big dog, and I went under this tent, and then they brought a seat and sat it there, and then I sat down. So this was planned. And I also see Clean Your Plate Man and his friend from the soup kitchen watching. And then this man approaches, so then the older black man approaches me, and he talks to me. He's very serious. We have a good conversation. We have a good conversation. And I didn't know anything about him or who he is. I don't think he's the pastor, but we were just talking about like well, I don't know what to say here, but we had a really good discussion, and just how like it's a lot of the upper class and wealthy people are the ones making the decisions. And I said, they know like what to do for recreation and stuff, but they don't really know what the lower class or even middle class people need. And then he was saying, oh yeah, I think I was out of touch too. And so this is probably a clue. This man, he doesn't seem like it, but he actually could have a government job, and he could have some influence. I'm thinking he probably does. And we were talking for a long time, and I see Clean Your Plate Man watching me. He comes over and watches. They're probably trying to attack me by we talk. I don't know. And I don't understand if this is supposed to be threatening, intimidating, or just like, how do I handle this? I don't know. Because I have never met this man before, and he seems like a very intelligent man. So it could be somebody that actually has influence. But he approached me, and then and I was saying how there was just this event. And you have to pay $100 to get in. And I said, I know they need the funding, but it just doesn't look good that you have to pay $100 to have a chance to talk with a politician. And but then we talked quite a bit, and I was able to tell him a lot of the problems. Well, he said that things were pretty good, and then a lot of the jobs left in the 80s. Like there was manufacturing and it left in the 80s. And I told him like how there's all he was saying how people couldn't afford food and stuff, and I said there's all these resources, soup kitchens and stuff, but I was telling him how people get bullied and intimidated, and I told him how like about the witchcraft, not too much, like it sounded good, it was just mentioning it but not going into too much detail, like about the type of things is that like how the believers are harassed, they come in, they get intimidated, and they don't come back, and so they don't eat. So I was saying how like the soup kitchen, even the mental health facilities, and these other groups, people will try to intimidate them or act like in a threatening way so that they don't come back and they don't get the help. So maybe this is something he didn't know about, but it seems like this is a smart man, and he probably knows all about these type of tactics. It seems like he's experienced these type of tactics or is aware of them. But he was surprised to hear that in all of these charity programs, this is what's taken. I was told the Covens have taken over one of the mental health facilities. They've taken over the soup kitchen, and they've taken over the I want to say AA type groups always have. So I was saying there are people that hide under the anonymity to be able to harass others, and maybe that should be changed. So I was just it was just a very natural conversation, but possibly this was a man of influence. And so he would be aware, because when I said, I don't know if you're aware of witchcraft, he didn't say anything, but he didn't act like he was surprised. So I bet he knows all about witchcraft, or he's experienced these type of things. And so, and he's like, oh yeah, the people do that. How about the people running it? I'm like, yeah, they let him do it. So he was surprised to hear this. So now if this man hears, and I don't know what he could do about it, but if they pray over it, or if they, I don't know. I don't know what they do. Even if they just put up rules. If they put up rules like no harassment, no intimidation, no treating people differently because of religion, I don't know. Something as silly as a sign makes a big difference. So I don't know. But that was good. And I think this was supposed to be an attack. Because as I said, Clean Your Plate man was sitting there. They saw me come in. And then this man came towards me after I ate the hot dog. And then we were just having a good conversation. And Clean Your Plate man was watching, hoping for something bad to happen. And we just had a good conversation. So, and he was giving me information too. We talked about biking a little bit. And so I can't remember all of it. But oh, I wrote down some stuff I forgot about. So when I first left my house, there is a bright green car, and it's like almost 2 miles from my house where it's parked. But then today, this vehicle was across the street, and it was within a block of my house. So I normally see this on my way to the gym, close to the gym, and it's such a bright green color, like slime or something. I like the color, but it's the only car I have seen in this color. And so because of that, I will recognize it. And today, it was across the street and a few houses down. So now, they keep trying to hire people to spy on me, and then they get their karma. And so they have to bring in more people. I don't know, possibly this green vehicle I've seen around before, but I've never seen it so close to my house as I did today. Not so much happened, so I'm taking my time with this. As I was, okay. Okay, there was a hat on the road. I don't know what this means. People, they place things on the road as signs. And I'm thinking, there are lessons and curses, things I had to go through. And something's placed on the street, I think it means it's the end of a cycle. And I really started looking into what this means when a cat got hit in front of me, and I kept seeing roadkill. And then I see the dead bird, and then they place a spoon, they place a lock. Things that are not in the road are placed in the road. It's on purpose. And then there was a cigar in the road, and it's they're signs to me. And they're the way that I go. So today there was a hat. When I was leaving, when I went out my front door, the cop goes right by. They're always right there. Okay, so I had a good conversation with this man, and then I kind of bike back, and I go past the Nazarene church on the way. I don't go in, but there's a couple cars in the parking lot, and I didn't even see who it was. But they might have been the pastor for all I know. I don't know, but there was one man, and he saw me coming, and he was blocking the sidewalk a little. Instead of just going back a few feet, he backed way up to give me a lot of room. So I was like, well, thank you. That was really nice. I didn't really see him, but I don't think that was a pastor. But there was a couple of vehicles. So maybe the pastor was there. Now, they've got their school bus back, so that's good. I don't want them to lose their school bus. But I think they got some karma for trying to come after me. But the school bus is back. So I go home for a while, make some coffee. Um, I got a cookie, 2 bags of chips, and 2 hot dogs today. So I guess the church meal is chips and hot dogs. But anyways, why is it that everything cheap has pork in it? Why is that pizza comes with pork, pepperoni, or sausage? Um, they do it on purpose. It's cheap and it tastes good. So, of course, they do this to bribe us. It's like you sell out to eat pork. Oh, it's less expensive or something. Um, so, then I even asked God, like, oh, there was a few things going on. And I asked God, I prayed to God to order my steps and where I should go. And so there was a 250 America's 250th celebration. It's about 6 miles, 5.5, 6 miles away, and it's a little more dangerous to get there. Most of the way is fine, but then there's like a stretch of like 45 mph with no sidewalk, and it's twisty roads. And so this could be dangerous. And also, I just had a group on Friday, and they spoke a curse over me that it would be dangerous. Well, it was dangerous, but not not in the way that one would suspect. Now, this holiday it's all about veterans. I thought it would be more about everything, but when I showed up, it was mainly veterans and military and patriotic. So, um, the veterans still didn't get me yet. So they tried to get me again today. They tried to get me again today, and they failed. And it's like there's videos. I listened to a video a couple days ago. It's about why things are delayed. There's enemies you didn't even know about. And so when I see something like this, I know it was an attack on me. They've got people all around me spying on me. They watch when I come. They watch when I go. They apparently have employed half the town to follow me around. And then they just like forward when I leave and when I go to the next person. So there is a in order to get to this township where the 250th celebration is, I don't know what it's called. I take this bike path. And so once I get on the bike path, it's pretty safe. But they planned for me to take the bike path because I didn't get on it right away. So right before the bike path, there's like a narrow bridge you go underneath, and if a car is going real fast, they could hit you. And then right after that, then you can go onto the bike path where it starts. But most of the road, the bike path is close to the road. But just at the beginning of the bike path, it goes down and it loops around, and you actually have to bike a lot further here. So I was just going to stay on the regular road here. So this is the beginning of the bike path. And a lot of times I just bike on the road till the next part. Because instead of just going next to the road, then it takes me down by the river and I loop down and go around. So I don't want to waste time. It'd probably take a couple extra minutes. And yeah, you go down the hill, but then you got to go back up. So I don't really want to mess with that. So they are I don't know if they have walkie-talkies or just using cell phones to let the next person know where I am. Excuse me. So, they assumed that I would get on the bike path right away, but I didn't. I stayed on the road, and I didn't get on the bike path probably for another quarter mile. And this is when I saw the planned attack. This is when I saw the attack. There it was. So this is a bike path. This is not a parking space. This is not where cars go. So I passed this. So I'm trying to explain it so it makes sense. As soon as you go under this bridge, then there's a bike path, and it loops around. Well, I passed this and I kept going on the road. And then at the end, and then as it loops around, this is where the car was, and I passed it. So I passed it and I saw it. There was a vehicle stopped, and there was a military man behind the vehicle. He was obviously military. He was maybe about 6 foot tall, muscular, not like Hulk, but like soldier fit. And he was putting his military pants on behind the vehicle. So what it looked like to me, because you don't stop here and you wouldn't put your pants on here. I think they had people stationed down at this part of the bike path. It's not right next to the road where others could see. It loops down. So you could kill somebody down there and no one would know, especially if they've got lookouts at the top. They have a lot of lookouts. So if they've got lookouts to make sure no one else is coming, and then you go all the way down and you cannot see that from the road. So then they let him know, I'm coming. So then he's down there, and then it's like, oh, and then they've got people in vehicles, like on the other side of the road. There's like some factories or plant on the other side. Just have a vehicle stop there with somebody watching, like, oh, she didn't take the bike path. She went straight. So then the soldier comes back up. He runs up to his vehicle, as he doesn't have his military pants on if he's going to try to kill me or something. Because he might get blood on it. Okay? This is what I'm guessing. And then he was pulling... This is serious. Like the honest to God's truth. So, right where the bike path went up by the road again. So I said, when the bike path starts, it loops down. And it goes down a hill. And then it's kind of like behind a cave or something. It's not really a cave, but it's like the ground is so high and then the hill. I can't explain it. It's almost like a little cliff here. Or ravine or something. And then it goes up. Well, the man was at the end of this. It's like he was waiting at the bottom. And then when they told him I didn't take the bike path, he probably ran back up to the car to get his pants back on and to leave. And then I biked right past him. So, why do I think this? Well, first of all, they spy on me. They watch me everywhere I go. Second of all, you don't stop here. This is not a parking space. Third of all, you would not be putting your pants on next to the road here. This makes absolutely no sense, but it makes perfect sense if they had him set down, if they had him at the bottom of the bike, so the bike path by the bottom, where you can't see it from anywhere. It's completely secluded. There's complete privacy there. So if he was at the bottom, waiting for me to come through, and then he was going to ambush me. This is what I'm thinking. But if they let him know. So he was down there, and they let him know, oh, she didn't take the bike path, and then I go past it, and this is like a few more blocks, I guess. There's no blocks here, but I'm trying to think about the distance. Maybe it would be a few more blocks before the end of the bike path. So here's the road, and the bike path goes like this. And so the amount of time, if somebody like called him or texted him or sent it, like beeped him or something, then he would have ran back up, and then he was just trying to get his pants on as I went by. So this only makes sense if he was going to ambush me. And actually, after I got back on the bike path, then I have to bike several more miles to this town. And then there's a man, and he is on an electric scooter. It kind of looks like a skateboard. He's on something like a skateboard. And he's following me. So there's no pedaling or anything like that. It's battery powered. So it's kind of neat, but I knew he was following me, and I could tell he was African. So I don't know if this means he's Haitian, because the Haitians were curious, but I don't really know if they attacked me. They might have been the only group that didn't really attack me, I'm going to say. But I did just speak to this black man at the well, I was downtown, but I wasn't at the pavilion. So, and, they told me, I forgot to mention, I asked about their church a little bit, and he said they have a lot of and this is why I'm saying this, they have a lot of Africans that attend their church, and there's Africans from different countries. So, Africa is a continent, and there's Africans from different countries, and they speak English too, and a lot of them go to this church, and this is why I'm saying this. Because the man that was following me, coming behind me, on the electric skateboard, I could tell he was African. And then I go past him, so he's kind of going like a little slower. And then I'm biking a lot faster, so I go around him. And so he looks behind too to make sure, because he's kind of going like this. And then he looks behind because he senses I'm coming. And then he gets over so I can pass. And so I'm going faster. And then I'm biking and I'm just trying to get to this fair thing. And then he starts speeding up. And then he goes around me. And then he's watching me. So he's in front of me, but he's watching me. And eventually he speeds off. So I know he was going slow until I passed him. And maybe he's talking to somebody else to let him know that I'm coming. I don't really understand. So he's going slow till I pass him. Then shortly after I pass him, he zips around me. And he's keeping an eye on me. But then at some point I start going kind of slow, and then I stop and I write something down to make sure he's completely gone. So this man probably had to do with the church where I got my second it was a church group where I got my second hot dog. So that I'm not saying this man is a killer or anything like that. They normally just send people like to say where I am so they can observe me or watch me or spy on me. That doesn't mean that they all are going to attack me, though they usually do. It doesn't mean they all do. And I believe I saw a few Muslims today that were spying. I think I saw a few. And I think one walked past me right after I got some free flags. And I had the American flags on my bike. So, anyways. This has nothing to do with Islam. There's a culture in every church and every group. And it's not like... you should appreciate the country that you're living in. You should appreciate your homeland. So there's nothing against any other country. But, let's see. Oh, and then, there's this, the church where they had the music classes, and then you turn down that road to get to this fair. And then that church, they knew I would be passing this. There's no way to get to this fair without passing it. It's a huge church parking lot. It was completely empty except for one SUV. And it was an expensive, new-looking SUV. And there was just a man in there reading. But he was watching, and he looked at me. So he was just sitting there in the SUV to know when I was going. I know this was a spy. There's no way around it. There was no one else in this parking space. The church is closed. And he was facing my direction. So it didn't make sense any other way. And he looked like he might be military, actually. So what I'm saying is this event is mainly about veterans. Because one of their military people got killed recently. Well, I don't know who this is. But I do know is they had a military funeral procession in my city. And that was only a few days after they tried to take me out at the Memorial Day event. So now I think that they're still coming after me, and then I prayed over their military base. So then I think, yes, I did make them upset. I prayed over their military base to return it to God. But they were already mad because apparently the military it's mainly witchcraft. It's a coven. It's a coven. But they did actually save people. And it is a blood sacrifice. The soldiers gave their lives so we could be free. Is the truth. It's the truth. And it's witchcraft. And it's a blood sacrifice. Now, we could have just followed God. We could have just followed God. And God would have healed the land and protected us. But we didn't. I did. But the other people in my country did not. So this is what I'm trying to say. The military is a coven. They sacrifice our soldiers. They let them be maimed and killed so that our country stays in a state of peace without being invaded and without having war and without having terror on the streets. We have to pay. Now, we could have just followed God's law. We could have just been obedient to God, and God would have protected us. But no, I go and tell people not to eat pork, and no one wants to hear this. Actually, the only group that kind of wasn't mad that I told was a Satanist from the coven. He wasn't offended, and another man, he wasn't offended, and he was like a spiritualist. But to try to get people, and this is one of the sins. This is the original sin. And that's not even getting into dating, abortions, fair exchange, stock market, lottery tickets, backtalk, gossip. No, I say backstabbing, gossip, narcissist. Well, there's so many dressing too sexualized, and acting too sexual to strangers. That's not good. That's not good. I'm not talking about normal. I'm saying seducing strangers is not good. Committing adultery is not good. Murder is not good. Lying is not good. Cheating is not good. Stealing is not good. Almost everyone lies. Almost everyone. I don't. I say things that are true at the time and I change my mind later. But I meant it when I said it. That's not a lie. So this is what I'm saying. The people are not following the law, and the churches tell them they don't have to. So, because we couldn't just, the country couldn't just be obedient and follow God. The sacrifice, the soldiers had to give their lives. And it was a blood sacrifice. But anyways, they get mad at me because God renders judgment. So I think they sent a soldier, a very fit, like not too thick, but like a strong, like a normal strong build soldier to try to get me. But I did not go down the bike path. I stayed on the road until later. And so it's like he was running back up and then couldn't get me in time. So, now I go around and I get some free flags, and I got this bracelet and this bracelet. So I did want all the colors, but they didn't want to give it to me. I know I don't deserve extra. I know. I just I collect these bracelets, so. But anyways, I walked all around, but it's Sabbath. I don't have much money anyways, but it's Sabbath, so I'm not buying or selling. And there was no free candy or anything. I was hoping there would be. I was kind of hungry. Because now it's like 7 o'clock. It's all, or 6:30. It's like 6 o'clock, 6:30. So yeah, I had hot dogs earlier. But that was like closer to noon. And so now I'm like hungry again. And there's not really free samples and stuff. But they did have like this free little bracelet. And they had some free flags. So that, I appreciate that. And I walk all the way around. And I ask if there's anything else going on. And apparently there is like a concert there at 7. And then there's a drone show when it gets dark. Like a fancy drone show. Well, I didn't want to be out on these roads when it's dark. It actually would be very dangerous for cyclists to ride on these country roads at night. So I wasn't going to stick around. I kind of thought about it. I mean, I know God protects me, but I don't want to make the angels try too hard. Oh, there was a man in the Boy Scouts group, and he was looking me in the eyes a lot. So I think maybe he might have been military or he was an agent. He was really looking me in the eyes a lot. So something was going on. Maybe he was an enemy. Something was strange. As he was very tall, but he was looking very intently at my eyes. And so maybe some people God allows to see in the spirit. Others, they get possessed by demons, and that gives them ability. So I don't know. He was looking at me very strange. So he knew something. But yeah, it just kind of went to all the booths, and there wasn't too much. And there was a bunch of food trucks, and I'm sure all of them had pork. But I didn't stop and tell them not to eat pork today. I didn't. I thought about it, but I didn't today. Because it's the Sabbath. They're already breaking the Sabbath by... this isn't like my reasoning. But it is the Sabbath. and we're not allowed to buy or sell on the Sabbath, and we're not allowed to eat pork anytime. So they already are selling on the Sabbath, and I didn't want to engage with a business on the Sabbath. So for that reason, I stayed back more. Now I talked to some of the vendors and things on Sabbath, but I don't buy or sell. I just talk to them like I would anyone else. So this isn't like this isn't justifying anything, because the other festivals and fairs I told a few people. But this time, like, I just biked almost 6 miles there, and there was a lot of people coming in. There was big long lines to get food. It looked like there was like 10, 20 food carts, maybe 10, 15 food carts, and it looked like all of them had pork probably. So it's just, I kind of let it go and dropped it. If it wasn't Sabbath, I might have went in there, but I'm not sure. So it was about 6:45, and like I'm thinking I'm gonna head out and see, like, closer to my house, that pavilion they were setting up for a show. I'm gonna head over there. I want to leave here before it gets dark. I mean, there's a concert, but I'm here alone, and I probably don't even like the music. And the drone show sounds fun, but to watch that, it would be dark when I left. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go. And I guess I could have came back to get a couple more free little bracelets. Now, it's not worth risking my life over. Even though God will protect me, it's not worth it. Um, so, now, they had another dunk tank, but you had to pay for it. I was watching somebody get dunked a bit, and then I looked, and there was a couple of men standing there, and they looked at me. So some people, and they looked at me in a certain way, like they knew who I was. And I'm not saying seeing in the spirit. Like, apparently, when I first showed up, someone else, like a woman, walked towards me, and she's like, "Hello, Jennifer." And I talked to her, and I said, "I can't remember, where did we first meet?" And then she told me at the church. She was from the Mormon church. And then I see her at a lot of the events. Maybe she's the Mormon witch. Maybe she's the Mormon witch. I could Mormon. I'm gonna write Mormon witch. Mormon witch. Maybe she's not. She seems nice. The Mormons did not try to kill me. I'm gonna say honestly, the Mormons did not try to kill me. Now they're kind of silly, and they're not following God. They're not following Christ, but they did not try to kill me. They are better than a lot. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, this woman, she was nice. We talked a little bit and then headed out, and so she said she sees me around. She sees me around, and other people are too. So apparently I'm like the talk of the town. Because when I went to this new park, and then there was an older couple, and they had their dog, and then I slowed down because I didn't want to like zip right past them and scare their dog or something. So I kind of go slow, and they look at me. They're looking at me like they wanted to see me or something. Like, I don't know how to say this. Like, oh, here's the bike woman. They never got to see me up close. That's what I'm saying. And then as I go past, and I look at them suspiciously, and then first there's the man, and then the woman. They're a married couple. First I look at the man because he's closest. I look at him suspiciously, and then the woman, and then at the end, before I leave, kind of like, I look less suspicious, and I give her a little smile, and then I leave. So I think they were like so happy to get to see the bike woman up close. It's funny. So then there's, I'm noticing there's soldiers and things at this fair, and some of them are like, they see me walking around, and I think they are disappointed. They see me walking around, so I figure, because God's not showing me 100% in the spirit. God's just showing me a glimpse in the spirit. So I see him walking around, but then I see that glimpse in the spirit of, they expected me to not show up, and they were disappointed that they didn't get me. I saw a few military guys there. And then, so then right before I left, then I see two other men standing here, and they look at me like they had heard of me, and and I have never seen them before. And so then they looked at me. It was that type of look, like not an enemy, but they had heard of me, and so they were looking at me. So apparently, like, bike woman is getting around. I was like, I know all the homeless community and the Satanist community, but the upper class community, I don't know. But anyways, then I just leave. I head out, and I go back to my city. So then I bike like 5 miles, 6 miles, maybe it's 6 miles because I go to the other side of town to the other pavilion. And when I first get there, like, this mainly older people, it's military veterans. I don't really see anyone I recognize. And I kind of go in and walk around a little bit. It's like, I asked, do they have some free stuff I missed? And, well, maybe over there, but they're just leaving. And, actually, I heard maybe they didn't have free stuff over there. So they had like a little light wand. Oh, it's not right here. And a bottle of water and a cupcake. I said, we got, there's a light wand and a bottle. I said, and how much? So what can I said, one of each. Take one of each. And so they said, yeah, that's good. Take one of each. And so I did. And the cupcake was amazing. It was so good. Oh, I forgot to say. I'm leaving this one fair. I'm biking like 6 miles, maybe 7 miles to the other side of town. Because I got to go back to where I was. And then I got to go over. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so maybe this is another 7 miles. And then I'm not going super fast. I'm going fast, but then sometimes I slow down a little bit. Sometimes I even lowered the gear a little bit. I normally go faster, but, I just, maybe I could have got more sleep. I don't know. But I'm thinking I'm a little hungry. And in my mind, I prayed to God silently. I was a little hungry, and if there would be something for me to eat that wouldn't harm me. And I said, something yummy. Something yummy. And so when I showed up, God answered my prayer. Because I went around the back, and there's cupcakes over there. And said to take one. I did take one, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was so delicious. I ate one. Then I start to walk back across, and I'm walking up the side, and I look. I don't see anyone I recognize. And then I just keep walking. I'm on the edge because I don't want to walk in front of people. And then the blonde narcissist comes towards me. He's like, oh, hey. And then he like puts his arm around me a little bit. And I'm like, oh, hey. And it's like, we're sitting over here by the front. So he invites me to sit with them. And then there's a couple other people from the coven. There's the woman who hit on me a few times. See who else was there. Oh, the other man that works with the narcissist a lot. He is a warlock, was there. So there was probably more that showed up later. But so then they just invited me. I'm like, okay, I'll go sit over here. And then God provided me so much what I need. This isn't even related to today. But like God provided me what I needed. First of all, I don't want to wear my regular tennis shoes when I mow the yard. Because they get full of grass. And that would just ruin my shoes that I wear every day. So then I got a pair of like sneakers that I don't normally wear to mow the yard in. And then they were casting spells on me, and I slipped, and it was dangerous. So then at the soup kitchen, they were giving out free shoes. They had one pair. They were like soccer shoes. They had spikes in the bottom so you don't slip. And they were the same color as the shoe that I was using. And they were my size, and they fit even better. God placed that there for me, knowing that I needed this. Because my front yard, it slopes down. So it actually the last few times in these shoes, it was slippery and it was dangerous. And one of the bikers went past and cursed me, and I fell on my tailbone, and it was sore for days. So then the next time I went to the soup kitchen, like all the free stuff set up here, and there was a new pair of shoes I never saw before. And it was like the soccer tennis shoes. So they're like regular tennis shoes, but they have spikes in them so that you don't slip and fall on the grass. This was perfect lawn mowing shoes. Praise God. And what else did God provide? This is something else I needed. This was at the soup kitchen with the free stuff. Somebody placed it there because I needed it, and I used it today. It was amazing. So it looked like it was rolled up, and it had a handle on it. That handle perfectly slides over my bike handlebar and just easily fits on my bike. And what it is it's a blanket. But one side of it's like a tarp type or tent material. So if you put a normal blanket in the grass, it'll get all wet. But this is a blanket that's got waterproof on the bottom and it's like fleece on the other side. And you fold it up and roll it, and then it velcros closed, and it has a handle that slides right on my bike. I couldn't imagine in my brain, like, if I had to design this is what I would have designed that was perfect. And yet it was already made, and it was sitting at the soup kitchen when they were giving it away for free. No one else wanted this. And I looked at it. I'm like, this is a fold up blanket, and one side's waterproof. This is so you open it up and put it on the ground, and it's got a handle, and it just fits over my bike handlebar perfectly. God provided. Well, now I show up. I roll my bike over to the front now, and I lay it down, take off my blanket, roll it out, and I got an extra jacket, so I got two bags on my bike. And then I take out my jacket, roll it up, make a pillow, and I'm like laying there, like kind of gonna sleep. It was comfy. And so the Coven people are just sitting right in front of me. It's so weird. They have been involved in trying to get me killed, and they have drugged me, and they've done so many things, but they still act like friends. It's so weird. I know that I know they're enemies, but it kind of felt like friends a little bit, even though I know they're enemies. So I think like they would like me if they weren't told to get me. But anyways, they're sitting there, and I just like felt really tired all of a sudden. So then I just opened this blanket up. It's the perfect length. So I just lay on my stomach, and I got the it was so comfy. And then what was happening in this pavilion? It wasn't any fancy drone show. It wasn't like a fancy music concert. It was like the orchestra was playing. So when I showed up, the orchestra was in the middle playing. It's a big orchestra. They got like bass and cellos and like probably clarinet, oboe, flute, like all types of instruments, and it's beautiful music. It did sound beautiful. It sounds like Star Trek type music, but then I'm just laying down and I'm like closing my eyes a little bit, and they had the free water. It was in my bike cup holder, and it was turned sideways, and so I drank it while I was laying down, and I sat it there. And I know that the Coven was probably thinking if they had a chance they would have poisoned it, so I just drank it real quick and I put it back. They couldn't do anything, and but I did have this, and so but I thought maybe this is already poisoned anyways. I'm not gonna drink this, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's not. Well, maybe this one wasn't poisoned and maybe now it is. I don't. Maybe I should try it. Try it another time. But this was in the side of my bag here, and it was facing them. So they did have a chance. My eyes were closed. But then all the people behind me would have also noticed. So I don't know. Like, I showed up, and I drank my water, and then I didn't really have anything else. I don't think they were able to do anything to me. They didn't necessarily expect me to be there. I showed up. They didn't have any attacks planned. They mentioned there's like a raffle, and it's like, you still got a few minutes to sign. So I get up and I run up, and then I go to the back, and they're like, oh, the raffle's up front. And I go to the front, and then I fill it out. And of course I lose. Well, I'm going to say lose. Only 2 people won. Many people filled out a ticket. But then, after the show is over, then some more people from the recovery groups, they show up. So I see a woman who actually likes me, but she's in the Coven. And she doesn't want to attack me, and she's like real happy to see me, and I just talked to her a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, new season, so I'm doing different things, so I'm busy. And then I'm like, do you want a flag? She's like, yeah. And so I had 3 flags, so I gave her 1 flag, and she seemed really happy to see me and gave me a hug. Now, I think this woman is actually happy to see me. And then the other man came up. This is the homeless man. And I think he is happy to see me too, but he has been involved in trying to kill me. So this is what I'm saying. Then he shows up and he's like, oh, hey, Jennifer. He's happy to see me. But he is the one that was dating Poopwitch and living with her. But anyways, they're happy to see me, even though they try to like poison me and kill me. They're still happy to see me. It's so weird. But then they mentioned the cupcakes or something. I was like, yeah, there's free cupcakes over there. So they're already eating them. Go get them. And, oh, okay, so this is, when I'm first invited to come over there, I mentioned, like, oh, there's free cupcakes, and then you can already go eat them. So then they head over to look at the cupcakes and come back. Now it's over, and there's still 2 trays of cupcakes left. There's still cupcakes left, and I'm like, somebody else want them? Nobody else wants them? So there's still cupcakes. And now I know they've done something to the cupcakes when they went over there. It's like, I'm going to think there's something wrong with them if no one else gets a cupcake. There was, and they did something to them. So they told me to only get one. But now the concert is over, and they have all these cupcakes left, and no one wants them. And I'm like, no one is eating these. I guess they're going to end up throwing them away. So then I kind of head back over there because I'm hungry. And then I get one more, and it's really good. And then I open up the other. So I'm looking for the vanilla on the vanilla. I open up the other one, and then I get this one. This one's not as good. It doesn't taste as good. And this one has been tampered with. This one has been tampered with. So actually, I went over there before I got a cupcake. An older woman walked by, and I said, there's free cupcakes here. She's saying how she ate one before, but it made a mess. It got all over her face. And so I'm thinking, is this a curse? It was either a curse or a warning. So maybe she cursed me, I would normally suspect. Or maybe they messed with these cupcakes, and so she got messy because someone else, because the narcissist and a couple people from the coven went over and messed with them. So the second cupcake I got was great. And there was 2 trays. And then I opened the other tray and get the last vanilla out. And this one looks shinier. And it's shinier because they put something on it. This was something wrong with this. There was some type of oil. I don't know what it was. And it like stuck to my hand. So I ate it. And I still enjoyed it. But it wasn't. It was like only 70% as good or something. It wasn't as good. So it wasn't the same. It's like they put something on the icing. And it didn't taste as good. But whatever it was real messy, and it wouldn't come off. It was like some type of oil that I couldn't get off my hands. And so I thought maybe this older woman cursed me, or maybe she was warning me because she ate one. I don't know. So I got 3. They told me 1 at first, but then I'm like, people are walking by and it's over. I'm like, free cupcakes, free cupcakes. No one wanted them, which makes me think they all had a demon. Because they all knew there's something wrong with the cupcakes. Don't eat them. But I was hungry, so I was going to eat it anyway. I figure there's probably something wrong with it. But I'm hungry. So this is suspicious. The whole group knows not to eat these cupcakes. But there's like hundreds of people in here. And they're not talking to each other. So their demons are talking to each other. It's like the Christians are Wiccan. And so they know they're possessing themselves with demons. It's like some secret. It's like they're all white witches. And the joke was on me because I thought they didn't know. It's like they all know. It's the opposite of what I was raised and told was the truth. The truth was they believe they're really Christians going to churches. And they would reject the devil. And it really looks like most of them are Wiccan. They know they are practicing witchcraft. And they know what they're doing. And that's why without even saying anything, no one touches those cupcakes because they all, like they can see in the spirit that there's something wrong with it. It's contaminated. So they know not to eat it. And that's why it's free cupcakes. No one wants them. So then I eat it, and then it's like on my hand. So there's a water fountain. I go to rinse it off. It's not coming off. I rinse my hand for like a minute. It's not coming off. It's like, well, this isn't coming off. And I'm trying to get it off, and it's on my mouth too. Like, this is not even regular oil. It's like if I dunked my hand into olive oil or something, and I couldn't get it off with water. It was like... I kept trying. I rubbed it in the grass, and they're getting ready. Everybody's getting ready to leave. Now the coven is left. They already got me. Oh, my hands are sticky now. But then there's a few people in the back, and I see there's a paper towel in this thing. I'm like, oh, excuse me. They're putting tables away. I'm like, excuse me, can I have a paper towel? And he's like, oh. And the man's like, yeah, I'll get you one. So he doesn't get me a paper towel. I saw a paper towel in a box. He goes over, he's got some he's got a roll of these wet wipes. That's even better. So he goes and gets a wet wipe and hands him like, oh, thank you. And I'm going like this for a while. I go like this for like a minute. And then they're still a little greasy, but it's mostly, that's how sticky it was. Whatever they put on this. And then my hands are mostly clean. This man was there, he saved the day. The wet thing he gave me, was like a hand wipe. It was way better. It had like alcohol on it. So it was a lot better. And my hands still feel like there's a little icing stuck to them. So they research uh like chemicals and things. They use science. So like some of the narcissist can be like a calculator. Like they know or they're told what to use. Whatever they put into icing made some type of chemical reaction to where it was not coming off of my hands. But I went like this with the napkin a long time. Then it mostly came off, and then I was leaving, but everybody I knew was gone, and it's sad to think like the people I know are enemies. Though I did talk to the woman before, like there was like a period in the middle. There was a break, and the woman who had hit on me before, and we're just talking for a minute. We were just talking for a minute, and I was saying, like, oh, I went to the other one, there's a lot more going on, it was kind of boring, and I decided to come over here, and I said, like, and then I mentioned this other, oh, she said she saw a festival earlier. I said, yeah, I went there, and I told her it was for this church, and like, they probably want me to go. I said, God has me do this stuff I don't want to do. I said, I don't like to go to church, but God, I says, I end up doing stuff I don't really want to do, and I'm said, sure you do, and she's like, yeah, she said she's got to do stuff she does stuff she doesn't want to do. We all do, so I guess we're alike in that way. But I would never want to hurt an innocent person, though. And some of them don't. Some of them, they're looking for a sin, they're looking for something bad I do so that they can feel okay about coming after me. They look and they can't find anything. It's like, they want to come after me, so they're trying to find something I'm doing wrong, and they look and they can't find a reason to hate me. Like maybe they don't like the way I do something, but they can't find a reason to hate me enough to do what they're sent to do. And also, I think like they had sent military people to get me. Some of them are disappointed I'm alive. They're walking around this fair. But at this point, I got 3 free flags. So I had a clip. I got a free clip too, and I already had a clip on my bag. This is God providing. The thrift store with the free room, there was a clip, so I took it and put it in my bag. Then the same clip in a different color I just got, so I had 2. And I clipped one to each side of my bike, and I put a flag on each side. So there was military people there that were enemies, and then they see, oh, I've got American flags on each side of my bike handlebars. And then I've got this says, I love USA. So that makes me think they were told I don't love the USA. I hate the United States. But then they see me with my bike, and I've got 2 flags on my bike, and I've got this right here. So that's how I know what they were told. The enemy lies to their own people. So if it's a group of Muslims, they'll slander me there. If it's a group, whatever group it is, they'll say I'm racist. If it's the bikers, then they'll have me talk to black people in front of the bikers. I'm like, oh, they do have problems with racism. They put me in like the Muslims. Like God had me take a bath in the splash pad while the Muslims were there. Because this is what I'm being used for. To bring people back into balance. And no one's got it right. It's like I wouldn't want to put myself in this position, but God sends me out, and just the circumstances align in a way. It's divinely orchestrated to where I'm right where I need to be. And so I know these veterans, these military people had to be told that I'm an enemy of the state. I don't like America. The reason I know this is because I was wearing this, and I had 3 flags on my bike and other stuff. So, and then I took the veteran pamphlets and things. So that's how I know they were told this about me. I can't even remember what's going on. I gotta get up early and go to a church. But, like I told the woman who's a lesbian, that woman actually, she looked me up and down the last time. I was wearing a shirt without sleeves. I was wearing a tank top. And she looked me up and down. She liked what she saw. I could tell. like, oh, maybe I shouldn't wear tank tops. Because I could see. God showed me that in the spirit. Because maybe she actually wasn't going like this, but her spirit was. And so now, these little sleeves make a difference. They do make a difference. But That doesn't mean, I'm not saying she's a bad woman, like, cause she's working for the coven, and she's trying to be a counterfeit, but she's also nice to talk to. So I would like for all of them to repent and just, maybe if they can repent and join the kingdom somehow, because they know how to do things right. I mean, they have to pretend to be nice people. I don't know. I would like them to repent. I don't want their whole lives to be ruined. I don't want them to go to hell. But who knows? I don't know what's possible. Yeah, I don't know, but they didn't. I guess they attacked me. They put stuff on the cupcake, and then it was on my hands. I'm like, oh, I can't bike home like this. It's not coming off. Then a man gave me a wet nap, and most of it came off. So that's all you guys can do. And then they run away once they get me. It's like, okay. I guess, like, they spent so much more effort planning all of this, and they had to make it, and they had to research it, and they had to bring it, and they had to get it, and it's like, and then they have to run away. It's like their whole life is planned around getting me. They have to put, like, probably 10 times more energy into getting me than whatever inconvenience it is, so. Yeah, and not all of them want to, but they have to. If they went against the coven, they would be targeted like I am, but I'm protected by the Lord. So they could be protected by the Lord if they start to live in obedience. But they're not. So right now they're not protected. They're protected somewhat. But when you're living in obedience to all of God's commandments, and you're trying your best to follow, if you pick up your cross and follow Christ, that level of protection is very high. And someone just leaving the coven, they're still involved in sins. Like, they don't have the same level of protection. They might not make it. A lot of them join when they're young. They're real young. They're teenagers. So I don't know what's possible. I was talking to one woman a little bit, and I told her, I'm just, it's just kind of boring, and I'm just by myself. And it's like, oh yeah, you don't have someone else to talk to and bounce it off of. Like, nope. I guess I'm talking to you. I didn't say that. I'm talking to you now. That's a little. It's like nothing is really fun. I don't know. It's like I need more going on. It's not fun, like, it's kind of depressing. Like, I guess what was kind of fun is I laid out my blanket and I was at my pillow and I almost took a nap. I enjoyed that. So I'm gonna go to bed soon. God bless. God bless anyone that's watching this.